So today we're going to go over part three of the question that I was previously asked. It's actually a question I get asked all the time. Sellers always ask me, Shane, how do I get the most money for my house? How do I sell it for the most? And I think the real question, as I've identified before, is how do I net the most money and stick the most money in the bank at the end of the day? We did part one to that answer was on targeted marketing. It's really identifying the most opportune buyer that's going to pay you the most money for your house. Because they're going to see those different things that are of interest to them. So we had talked about an 8-car garage and who would be the most opportune buyer for that, wine cellars, who would be the most opportune buyer for that, and so forth. The second part of the series that if you've missed it, you want to go back and watch, is selecting the right agent. I hate the term right agent. Really, we're talking about the right marketing consultant that knows how to put your home in front of that most opportune buyer in an effective way so that they actually have a call to action to get you to move forward and do something so that we can actually sell the house. The third topic that we're going to cover today, the third piece, is pricing. It's a critical mass piece. What I find all the time is that a seller wants to get the most for their house. They think that the way that they get the most is that they actually list it above what the house is really worth. So if we take an $800,000 home, we look at the comparable sales, we look at appraisals, we know what they're selling for, it's worth $800,000. A lot of times a seller will say, okay, well, let's start at $900,000, and that is probably the very worst decision that you can possibly make. And so I kind of want to go over why. They're thinking, okay, well, let's list it at $900,000 and we can negotiate down and we can always drop through the price. But they actually make their own property stale and almost guarantee that they're going to make less money on that home. Let me just explain how that works. If I roll into your house and I run through all my numbers, I'm pretty greedy. The more I can sell your house for, the more money I'm going to make. I want to be able to take your $800,000 house and sell it for $1 million. I'm going to make more money, and I like money. But ultimately, that's not going to usually work. What ends up happening is we take that $800,000 house and you say, hey, I really want to list it for $900,000, and then we'll slowly back down. And so we start off at $900,000, and that's where we get people. We put all these products in front of them and say, hey, you've got to look at this great house. This house is awesome. They come in, they're excited about the house. They look at the house and they say, hey, I don't see the value at $800,000. Well, then we drop the house to $875,000 and we say, hey, look, the house is worth $875,000. Come take a look. They may come back a second time and they go, wait a second, it's only worth $800,000. And then they're gone. And then we drop to $850,000, and then we finally get to $825,000, and we get to $800,000. And when we get to $800,000, all those people that really were our target audience have already seen it. It's already stale. They already know that the value wasn't there, so they're not interested. And they feel like, okay, the seller now keeps dropping price and keeps dropping price. They're going to come in with an offer of $750,000, $775,000. Whereas in most circumstances, if we just started at the right price, we started at that hypothetical $800,000, we'd have sold the house usually in 7 to 30 days. You'd be able to move on to your next house. You'd be able to get into your next housing need, whether you're upsizing or downsizing. So please don't make that critical mistake. We look at the empirical data. If you have empirical data that's real recent, that's for comparable style homes in your own community, by all means provide it to your agent, whether that's us or whether it's somebody else. But please don't overprice your house, because when you do it, you're almost guaranteeing you're going to end up with less at the end of the day. And trust me, agents make the same mistake. I've listed my own homes. I've listed dozens of my own homes. I always want to make the exact same thing. Hey, let's start that house much higher. But now with experience, I know that that's always going to guarantee a lower result for me. So I don't do that anymore. Anyways, I hope this information was helpful. If you have questions and comments, please email me at shane@blockerteam.com. Also, please be sure to subscribe to our channel, because we do have new content that comes out all the time that's relevant to what's going on here in the Las Vegas market. And also, if you have friends, by all means, please share this information. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.